a lot of people have been telling me to go to the suburbs and stuff like that. So I'm here, I don't know if this is the suburbs, but we're in Newport Beach, California with Sarah Banta. Sarah, hello.
Hi, Jason. I'm so excited to have you in my hometown again.
Yeah, it's great to be here. It's beautiful. It's so nice today.
I know. It's cold for us California people. I think it's in the upper or lower 60s maybe, and yes, I'm dressed warm because we're not used to this. A couple weeks ago it was 70 degrees in February, so.
We have a very special guest with us.
Yes, we do.
Nova.
Nova. Say hi, Nova.
Hi, Nova. Nova is such a super sweet dog. Oh, she seems to be on the spot right now.
She is my mini golden doodle. She gets out for a walk as much as we'll take her.
Now, people who've seen you on the show before, Sarah, know that you are a health advocate, a supplement expert, an alternative. How would you describe yourself exactly?
Well, I'm a health coach, a natural supplement expert. I'm on the pulse of all the cutting edge technologies and solutions, supplements, diets, detoxes, and I am an N of one. I essentially biohack on my own body. I experience life just like we all do. I go through the stresses and the diet issues and all of that, and I truly believe that God gives me a health issue either in my own body or my family's.
Just to overcome it.
Just to overcome it so that then I can help others do the same. And I've really found the different solutions that boost the immune system, help with weight loss, help with mental clarity and mental issues. I mean, what we've talked about before is...
Now, wait a minute. Let's just stop here for a second, because if you want to talk about clarity, I mean, what we're looking at over this hill is amazing.
This is the Back Bay, Newport Back Bay, and pretty soon, in about 30 minutes, you're going to see the high school rowing team go out under the bridge, and then you can see way out there across the homes and the bridge is the actual ocean.
And your son is a star of the high school rowing team, isn't he?
He's a senior, and my daughter is now a sophomore rowing on the varsity team as well. And then my youngest is doing the junior high team. So they've all found some pleasure, and also I have to say, through this whole COVID experience, the rowing team is a club sport, which has been a blessing, and we didn't really realize that at the time.
What do you mean a club sport? I don't understand.
A club sport away from the school. So our school district has been on shutdown, and they are on a hybrid schedule, and up until last week there was no sports. So my daughters used to play volleyball. There was going to be no volleyball.
No exercise is probably good for you, right?
Right. So when we talk about boosting the immune system, yeah, let's get the kids staying home in front of their computers.
Yeah, Zoom all day.
Zoom, and in their pajamas,
eating junk food probably.
Eating junk food, and no exercise, no interaction with their friends.
Strap a mask on.
Right, strap the mask on. And the mask, of course, is really good for that teenage acne.
Right. Well, we've seen that. Now, obviously, that's, we got to be careful what we say, because we're in danger of being blitzed off of YouTube at any moment. I also want to remind people that if they want to learn more about Sarah, they can go to her website, acceleratedhealthproducts.com. I use many of those products, I have to say. They are quite good. I had a tooth infection, and your Accelerated Silver helped me deal with that without getting the tooth removed. So I was very pleased, and it's got a lot of other wonderful purposes. We did an interview on your radio show this morning that was a little bit plagued by internet difficulties, but people will be able to hear that as well. I wanted to come here to meet with you again, and also just to check out the neighborhood here. It's beautiful. These homes are just exquisite. Obviously, most people aren't going to have the opportunity to live in such amazing houses in such an amazing location, but California's always been this dichotomy to me, because I really do love it. The weather is fantastic. The climate is fantastic. I have a lot of wonderful friends here, but the politics, it's real difficult. How's it been for you?
It's been really difficult, and that is why you see this massive movement of Californians to the
Here,
Idahos
hang on
and
just a second. Let's let them
Montanas
pass us.
and all of these other states, in Texas and Arizona. They're all moving because they can't afford it. I mean, essentially, with what's going on in California, some people will be paying taxes of 62%.
Whoa!
So how do you live off of that?
I don't know.
And real estate is going up, but there's got to be an end to it at some point. And the weather's beautiful,
Yeah.
but the weather does not surpass the effects of stress and the effects of mental stress and physical stress, and just living here in a position where you don't feel like you're in control of your life, and
Right.
all of your freedoms are being taken away. Now, we're in Orange County, which is a little more conservative than most of California, so it's kind of interesting. We have not suffered as much of the restrictions as a lot of California, but like I said, my kids are in a school district where they have been going to school maybe 2 days a week, and that is optional.
Wow.
My kids will come home, go, Mom, I don't even want to go to school because I'm
The only person there?
one of 3 kids that shows up.
Wow.
And they're in this uncomfortable position with the teacher standing there in front of the computer, where they are the only person that the teacher is interacting with.
It's so weird.
And that is, that happened late, I think it was November, December. And so, for all of last year, from March till June, and then from September through November, the kids were on Zoom all day long.
Wow.
Now, I've got a 14-year-old that will come downstairs and see me at 9:30 in the morning, and I mentioned this earlier, and she'll be done with school. And she might have to check into a class for 5 minutes to answer a question to prove that she was present, and that is it.
Wow.
So you think about all of the things that these kids are missing out on.
The socialization of being in school. You know what has also occurred to me, Sarah, like what you're describing, just the attitude in general in school is going to be different. Like, remember the last day of high school and everything? Nobody's really getting anything done. I mean, sure, you're there and it's a regular weekday, but there's something a little bit different about it. And, I've kind of detected as I go around to these hotels, they're saying things like, hey, we don't have the regular housekeeping service, so if you need towels, come down to the front desk and stuff like that. And then there was that plane that took off and the engine exploded. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty unusual circumstance. I wonder to what extent other industries have been permeated by this, hey, it's a day off kind of attitude.
Right.
And it's making things happen a little bit less efficiently than they normally would.
No, I absolutely. I mean, in every industry, and it's also interesting just to see the way they're taking on this fear, and it's changing their daily lives as far as not just the wearing the mask, but as a female, just on a side note, I don't have to put makeup on because I'm wearing a mask, or I don't have to worry about smiling at the people around me.
Because they can't even see, right?
If I am at all. And so it changes your demeanor, it changes your mood and your expectations from other people. And it just is kind of this whole snowball effect of your physical interactions, or the lack thereof, then is affecting your physicality and how much you're going out. And like what we're doing right now, this vitamin D from the sun feels so good.
It does.
Because I've been inside all day.
Yeah.
Right? Even for me, I'm working all day long. I'm inside and I forget just
the
about
ocean air, everything.
Exactly. So then without that, then you look at the stressors that they get to you, and then the mention of your body, where your happy hormones are missing out, and then that's affecting your physical immune system, which I always laugh at, that's the one thing we're trying to strengthen right now, right?
Yeah, and we spoke about it on your show as well, this idea that, when you break your arm or leg and you're in a cast and you're not using that appendage for weeks at a time, when you get the cast off, you've got to go to physical therapy and your arm or leg is super weak. And now we've all been in this state where people have been inside, isolated from the public, keeping the masks on, using lots of hand sanitizer and stuff, not being exposed to the normal viruses and bacteria that are frankly a part of our day-to-day lives that a healthy immune system is totally able to protect you from. How do they know how this is going to affect people's immune systems and everybody who's been isolated at home?
Well, I can just tell you it's not good. I mean, you don't need the studies to tell you that all of this is bad, and people are suffering from anxiety and depression and suicide to a point that we've never seen before. I mean, divorce rates are higher, and I know children, multiple children, who have tried to commit suicide in the last year on a personal basis. Not this. I'm not just talking about statistics. I'm talking about on a personal basis, and the amount of kids that are on some sort of antidepressant. Right. And then, of course, the parents that are as well. Mm-hmm. And how do you navigate, for instance, in my household, I'm a working mom at home. I've got 3 kids on Zoom. We're on top of each other 24/7.
This is your working mom groove right here.
Right? Here we go.
Work it, Mom. It's like club night over here in the park.
There you go. Yeah, they've shut down the club, so you got to take them to the
I
park,
guess so.
right?
Well, that's the other thing, is that people aren't having that kind of socialization and interaction. It's, people are going to get mad and you're going to get into fights, and it's really bad.
And you had mentioned...
Let's stop here for a second, take a look at the marina.
So here comes the sunboat crew, which is really nice and fun to see that they're
wow, yeah, look at that.
Out. And then the buildings over there is Fashion Island, which is a shopping center here in Newport.
So that's high school rowing right there.
Those look like they are the paddlers, not the rowers. There's a couple different boats that come out of the aquatic center.
Wow.
So.
What a beautiful way to get your exercise.
Yep.
And I mean, that's also a great way to socialize. See, I mean, for people who are adults who are sitting in their houses, it's like, okay, this is a year, not that that's nothing, but when you're in high school and you lose senior year, or you lose, I mean, that's where lifelong relationships are formed, romances and just friendships, and people you're never going to get that back.
Okay, so here the rowers come way out in the distance with that launch boat. But even the rowers, they are 4 feet away from each other in the boat. Legally, they have to wear masks.
Oh my God.
So my kids are coming home, they have a face shield and a mask. However, last week they were told, well, I guess we can only we only have to wear the mask to get the boat in the water and take the boat out of the water, because that makes sense. But once we're in the boat, we don't have to wear the
virus
mask.
is afraid at that point.
Right. It's amazing how that happens. And let's talk about the fact that in that bay water, there's thousands of viruses that we are exposed to every time we get on the water or in the water. And as we're breathing the air from the plants that we're around, we're breathing in amazing bacteria and things that are so good for our microbiome. Mm-hmm. And if you're reading anything about health lately, you've read about the importance of microbiome and how 80% of your immune system's in your gut. Uh-huh. So when you are eating junk food and sugar and carbs and all the stuff that eat away at your gut lining, you get something called leaky gut. Mm-hmm. But when you have leaky gut, your immune system's shot, because 80% of your immune system is in your gut. Now, are we hearing anything about cleaning up your diet to boost your immune system?
No, and you know, I was thinking about this because we've been hearing about this Chinese anal swab and that, I mean, I've been making a lot of jokes about it. Obviously, talk about any kind of anal swab immediately, that's like kind of juvenile but funny. But obviously, it must exist in the digestive tract and in the gut if they're testing, you know, there to find it. And
Exactly.
so we're not hearing anything about diet. We're not hearing anything about, you know, I mean, we could talk on YouTube all day about how great it is to eat Skittles and McDonald's, and they wouldn't say, oh, hey, you know, you're giving out bad health information. But the second we start talking about any of the products that you sell, we're treading on thin ice, because acceleratedhealthproducts.com, you're not a doctor, I'm not a doctor, we're not giving people medical advice, but anything you do in this area is so, they want to jump on it, right?
Right, absolutely. But what I was excited to see in the last few weeks is 2 of my top supplements for boosting the immune system, the accelerated silver. Well, silver was studied in the last year, and on my website you can see a blog written about the COVID research on silver.
Who did that research?
It was the NIH.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go.
So we can talk about them and we can promote their research.
We can,
That's good.
absolutely. So you can go to the website under health articles and read all about it. But they show how, and they claim, we don't know how it works, but we know that silver deactivates viruses in general.
Wow.
And COVID.
I usually drink a capful of that accelerated scalar silver every day.
That's, at least you should be doing it maybe 2 to 3 times.
Now wait a second. Who's this guy?
This is, I don't know,
How long has this been here?
forever.
Oh, it has. So this is some sort of a monument to a soldier.
Here we
Let's
go.
see what it says here. I'm checking out all these interesting monuments as I travel around. So the city of Newport Beach. This memorial was made possible through the generous donations of the people and businesses of Newport Beach, American Legion, Post 291, Basin Marine Boatyard, David New family. So I guess it's just a tribute. But this is a nice spot to have that in. I mean, it's really amazing, the view over here, Sarah.
It is my favorite place to walk, and
It's therapeutic just being
is.
here.
It is. You feel the wind and the fresh air, and you smell the ocean.
Mm-hmm. And how's it been, you know, a lot of the neighborhoods I've been going to have been like super duper dead. I mean, the series, of course, I'm calling it Ghost Town USA, but has Newport Beach been a ghost town?
You know, in the beginning, the traffic was really down, but now it's as busy as can be.
Uh-huh.
People are moving and shaking. The restaurants that are open now are booked.
Uh-huh.
You can't get a reservation for I think it's about 2 weeks, and they just opened indoor dining, but I actually went out to dinner last night, and they were really sticking to 2 people per table still.
2 people, so your family cannot even eat dinner together in a restaurant.
Most restaurants, unless it's outdoor seating.
Wow.
So,
Even though you guys are inside your house all day
right,
together.
breathing on each other as we're on Zoom and computers all over each other.
Have a lot of the restaurants closed? Is it that the restaurants that remain are super overwhelmed?
We're in Newport Beach. It's the nicer restaurants that are getting this burst of activity right now.
It's a very
because-
upscale
yeah,
neighborhood.
And people love going out to dinner, to nice dinners, and so they haven't had the ability to do so for
like
months.
a year,
and
yeah.
So now they've got this backlog of people wanting to go out and finally enjoy themselves.
Yeah, and you know, for people who haven't been to California, I'll say it again, it's such a dichotomy. Just even on my drive over here, I don't know if people realize how high-end the legal cannabis industry has become. There was this office building or retail store or whatever it was for one of these weed dispensaries that just looked like an Audi dealership or something. It was like super nice stone building, and of course, you know, Gavin Newsom. I've seen some Recall Newsom signs around.
Absolutely.
What's the attitude been around here towards Gavin?
I honestly, whether liberal or conservative, I don't know one person that likes him.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, it's very interesting, especially here in Newport Beach, which tends to be a little more conservative compared to the rest of the state. I think he's backpedaling a little bit with the position he's been in, and I think that's why there's this push to try to get the schools open.
Uh-huh.
He's been seen dropping his kids off at
French Laundry.
private school, nice private schools, while all the public schools are still shut down.
Huh.
So, yeah, I don't think there's much debate about his position.
When will they decide, though, if he gets recalled? Will they bring back Gray Davis, or who's up?
I don't know. And there's a couple people, and you can see out there the rowers are now coming out.
It is just beautiful over here. I mean, it's undeniably amazing. The weather today is fantastic. And being outside in the quiet like this, getting the fresh air, we got everybody walking their dogs and stuff.
Now, one thing Newport has that is not a good thing is John Wayne Airport is here, which is great as far as a convenient factor, but we have airplanes that fly over.
Oh, no problem.
And when COVID hit, one blessing was that there were less flights.
Right.
So the noise pollution was less. That's starting to ramp back up a little bit.
Have you flown at all since the pandemic started?
I haven't. I don't care for flying much anyway.
Yeah.
And, the whole process that you have to go through.
Yeah.
Jason, I really hate having to put myself in any position where I have to wear a mask.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. I don't know if I'm ever getting on a plane again if they keep this protocol up.
in general,
Wow, look at that bike.
I try to.
Oop, we missed it.
Oh,
That guy had a very unique hand-paddled bike. I'm with you on that. I really don't want to go. Not only are you being forced to wear a mask, you're in this situation now where a lot of people have the ability, come with us, miss. You're now arrested for doing whatever. Judy Mikovits the other day, Dr. Mikovits was arrested on an American Airlines flight for some reason, injured by the police.
that's unbelievable.
Isn't it?
Well, you just touched on it. You are out of your power. You are out of your control when you put yourself on a flight and then you cross the state borders. What happens if
Right.
you test positive for COVID? And then you have to quarantine there, and it,
Yeah.
really backfires. So I haven't had to.
Why would you leave here?
Well, right. I am very blessed that I do work out of home, so my life hasn't changed much in that sense.
Well,
except
but your
for
kids
my
and everything, right?
Yes, and it's been a very difficult job to parent through this.
Yeah.
There is no rule book on how to parent 3 kids at home through COVID or a pandemic. There's no studies on it. There's no, I'm the type that researches everything, reads all the parenting books. I'm a psychologist at heart. I'm very in tune with mental, physical, and spiritual health and how important they are. And when this whole thing started, I told my kids, I said, okay, you have to stick to a routine or the wheels will fall off.
Right.
Right? So you need to get up.
That can happen even if you're an adult.
Absolutely.
Staying
and
up
it
until
has.
3 in the morning. And
Oh, no, it totally has. As far as my clientele, when we all got shut down a year ago, which I can't believe it's been a year,
2 weeks to stop the spread.
the amount of drinking
Right.
and anxiety went up quickly, but everyone thought it was going to be over quick. It was maybe 4 months into it, then people said, okay, Sarah, I need to do a detox.
Been drinking too much.
I've been drinking too
hanging out
much.
watching TV late.
Yep, eating junk food on the couch, binging, whatever. It's time to get me back on track because obviously there's no end in sight. We don't know when this is going
Still,
to end.
even
Exactly.
now. President Stupid Joe saying if you're lucky, maybe July 4th you can
Right.
get together.
Right. So I said to my children, I said, you guys have to shower before you go to school. Whoa, there's the bike.
That's the guy going nuts on the bike. He's all over, huh?
And you have to make sure that you're reading of some sort every day and
exercise the mind.
And also getting out and getting 30 minutes of vitamin D.
I like that advice.
We talked about all of the different things to keep you on track and keep the importance of a routine. And you know, Jason, I do these group coaching for detox cleanses now, and I stress the importance of these basic things that you need to do on a daily basis outside of the supplements and the food. You need to incorporate some sort of meditation or gratitude, waking up and before you open your eyes, just lay there in gratitude for what your day is going to be like and knowing that it's going to play out just as you would picture it. And waking up, trying to work out at some point, and if that workout's just a walk, that's what it is. But you're scheduling yourself and you've got time blocks during the day, and that keeps people a little more motivated and more on track with their lives and keeps their mental and their physical.
You're so responsible. I'm always so impressed whenever I talk to you, Sarah. But just back to your kids for a second, without getting too personal.
No.
Can you share something with us that might shock people in terms of what is happening with teenagers and families that have teenagers who are dealing with the pandemic? That maybe somebody like me has no idea, can't expect that would have been said.
Well, I find it funny that my company's named Accelerated Health Products, right? Well, through a pandemic, everything's accelerated.
True.
What does that mean? I've got an 8th grader. My 2 older kids, when they were in 8th grade, I would never have thought that I would be talking to them about drinking and vaping. My youngest, there's major drinking going on in their grade. Which in our
How old is 8th grade? 14?
14.
Wow.
And it's because these kids are at home Zooming and they're done with school by noon and there's no sport.
Idle hands, right?
So you've got kids that used to go to school from 8 to 3, race home, to have a little snack, and then go off to soccer practice, basketball practice, you name it.
Pound a couple cocktails.
Right. And then come home for dinner and do their homework, and that was their day. And then they would have Saturday and Sunday. Usually Sunday might be a family day, but so you're down to maybe 1 or 2 days a week where they're doing their socialization outside of school with their friends. Well, now it's a daily thing. So you go from 1 to 2 days to 7 days a week where parents can't wait to get their kids out of the house.
Right.
The parents have had it.
Right.
They're like, I need a break.
Because everybody's under stress.
Everyone is under stress. There's too many people in the house at once, and they're on top of each other. So the acceleration of the socialization and the bad behaviors, it's been very obvious and really hard to manage, because how can I tell my 8th grader no, you can't see your friend on a Tuesday when school's over at 11 and you have nothing to do till dinner time?
Right.
Well, no, she needs to go get socialization that she hasn't had at school. But then you've got some people that are saying, well, they shouldn't be together at all because we're afraid of COVID.
Right.
And then you've got the other group that says, my goodness, the mental health issues are so much bigger than the COVID issues, especially with the younger generation.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the data, I don't know if you've seen many episodes of John Cullen Investigates, but on Fridays, that's one of the sponsor exclusive shows on Subscribestar and Patreon. John's been digging into the data from the CDC. And we're not challenging it, we're, uplifting it. We're telling people about it. That tells us that the number of COVID deaths in American children aged 0 to 14, the last time we looked, I think it was less than 100.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you hear that, and that's, as far as I know, that's a fact coming from the CDC. So people will say, Jason, don't believe the CDC. I mean, to the extent that they're the ones driving the public health policy, how does it make sense to close schools if it's such a low risk of a fatal outcome to anybody who is of school age? I mean, why not have if your teacher is over 65 and high risk, put the Zoom screen in the classroom and have the teacher appear on
Right.
video while everybody's there in school, and have people in the low risk groups taking care of
Yep.
active interacting humans in a school.
Absolutely, and that's a big issue here. It is the teachers' unions that are in control. The parents are so fed up. I'd say some of the teachers, they were fed up. They wanted to be back in the class, but then they got used to this life of where they were
Less
at
work for
home,
them, right?
And they're not having to get babysitting for their own kids that are home. And they're taken care of, and it's like, oh, this is kind of getting easy.
Right.
And I think a lot of people in the workforce have gotten a little lazier. I shouldn't say lazier, but it's comfortable to be at home and not
Right.
to have to get up and put your work clothes on. You only have to put your tops on, and you can be in your sweats on the bottom.
Well, or
right?
if you're that guy from CNN,
Right.
who was that weird lawyer who
Gosh.
didn't even have his pants on.
Right, exactly.
So that's good for some people.
So it's just the world has changed. I don't think I think a lot of businesses like office buildings and real estate for office is going to be very dead and go down, just because the amount of people wanting to go back and pay for rented space is going to go down.
Right.
So there's some definite changes in our world in a permanent way.
I agree with you. And I mean, you and I were just saying, even our attitudes towards travel. I've been driving around on this road trip primarily because I just don't want to get on a plane. I just don't. Not because of fear of COVID, but because I don't want the TSA or the cops or whoever to say, oh, you don't have a mask on, now we can beat you up and throw you in jail.
Right,
That is bizarre, right?
right.
I mean, it seems like not that long ago, if you got on an airplane with a mask, they'd be like, sir, you can't ride the plane with a mask. You might be a terrorist. Take that damn thing off. And they'd throw you off for wearing a mask.
Exactly. And that's, I just tell people, you really need to take back your control, and that's what my focus is, and my passion is to give people that control back, to bring them back to feel grounded, increase their mental space, alleviate the depression through diets, supplements, through just mythologies and protocols that help increase the overall health and give you that power back. Because like we were talking about earlier, Jason, you put yourself in the hospital, your life is not yours.
Yeah.
Right? And no loved one can be in the hospital with you to be your advocate. So with what I try to do, I try to find those cutting edge technologies and solutions to bring in the home. And I have technologies, if anyone's ever interested, they can reach out to me. But the technologies that can actually detect whether you've been exposed to COVID, not with a PCR test, but with an
Your
actual,
iPhone can tell you now.
Exactly.
You turn on the thing and it
my
says...
iPhone can tell me, and I have been exposed. I can also tell you that my son has been exposed, and your listeners may remember that he was suffering from leukemia 9 years ago when he was 9. Now he's 18. He's the one that I send to the market and to run all my errands because...
He looks as healthy as any... I mean, when I met him, he was 16 or 17, but I mean, and he's on the rowing team and everything, so...
Yeah, he hasn't been sick. I'm sure he's been exposed, and not a cough, not a sore throat through this whole year. So, like, back to the whole school thing and the kids, they should be in school. The mental ramifications of what we are seeing for these children is just unmeasurable. I mean, you can't...
And maybe irreparable.
Absolutely. The amount of psychological work that's going to be needed to get these kids back is, I guess those psychologists are going to have a job that's in high demand for years to come.
Absolutely. So acceleratedhealthproducts.com is the place to go. What a sweet dog. Well, what else should we talk about, Sarah? We've been going here for only about 30 minutes. It's such a beautiful spot. I really wanted to come back here because, when we did our first interview, I sort of just saw this out the window, and it just struck me as a remarkable place that maybe a lot of people haven't been to, haven't seen.
What's interesting is when you go to that's Fashion Island. I had mentioned that is a big shopping mall. You walk in there and you want that experience of shopping, and you are in line to get into a Lululemon. So no, these buildings over here.
Oh,
And
wow.
you've got...
That's a shopping mall? It looks like an office complex.
There's office buildings, but then in there
Uh-huh.
is a outdoor shopping mall.
Uh-huh.
And you have to wait your turn to go in the store, and you're wearing your mask, and it's just such an odd experience when you've got the person there working is trying to talk to you through a mask,
Right.
and you don't know if they're smiling or not, and just the lack of
Just interpersonal anything.
exactly. It gives me such a weird feeling that I don't even...
Don't want to go, right?
No, I don't want to go.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, they've made everybody into agoraphobic, germophobic introverts
Yeah.
who the only interactions, I mean, until I came on this road trip, the only interactions I was having with people were getting yelled at on the street for not wearing a mask.
Right. Oh, I had an interaction with a lady that we were walking out of the restaurant,
Uh-huh.
and it was outside, and she saw that we weren't wearing a mask, and she put her arm up over her face as if I was just so horrific. I was such a horrible person, not wearing my mask, and mind you, she was 6 feet away from me, and still, and it was the cold of night, so there was no way that she would have been exposed by me.
You know, I'm seeing that all over the place. If you are outside without a mask, people make this kind of wide path around you,
Yeah.
and it's almost like you're like, if there was some sort of toxic gas emanating from every pore of your body, you know?
And this is what they're creating. They're creating this fear of each other.
Right.
And this antisocial behavior that, I don't know if you've watched a movie from 10 years ago or even 2 years ago lately where you're like, gosh, that would have been nice. Look at those people just talking at a concert or at a restaurant without thinking twice about shaking hands or giving a hug. You know, I mean, even with your close friends, it's kind of
Yeah, you
like,
don't shake hands anymore,
no,
really.
you don't know if they want to shake hands or not.
Right, they might
Or-
get insulted.
Or give you an elbow bump,
Shake somebody's hand like, oh, you're that Trump guy.
right? And now we're starting to see people wear 2 masks.
I've been seeing that. And, you know, I'll tell you something, it gives you a lot of insight into a person's general demeanor when you see that.
Yeah.
And likewise, when they see me or you walking without a mask, I'm sure they say the same thing. And it's not bringing people closer at all. It's creating more conflict,
Exactly. And
more stress.
I have a lot of clients that are into natural health, into taking, you want to go that way?
It's up to you,
Yeah. Well, this is back.
however you want to go.
Where they take their supplements, they're really good about their diet, but because of the pounding of information about the vaccines
Right.
and the fear that they still feel like they need the vaccine to be safe.
Now, Marvin Hagler, the famous boxer, died the other day. Tommy Hearns said, who's another boxer who Hagler beat the crap out of in the late 80s in one of the most amazing fights in history. But they became friends, I guess, after that. And Hearns says Hagler was totally fine until he had this vaccine. And I don't know what the official finding has been, but I don't know if you follow boxing or care about Hearns v. Hagler, but Marvin Hagler, he's the guy who, was that Hagler? Yeah, Tyson bit his ear off.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, wasn't that Hagler? Marvin Hagler. But Tommy Hearns wasn't a heavyweight, was he? I don't know. Anyway, he's died, unfortunately. Let's see, the comments will know about whether or not Hagler was a heavyweight. Somehow this is not working right now. So we've got a lot of viewers with us, 727 viewers watching right now. People who are interested in learning more about Sarah and her products can go to acceleratedhealthproducts.com. People who are interested in Porsche 914s can check that out.
There we go. Jason, I'll just mention a couple things as far as what people can do to boost their immune system
Yeah.
and You know, I'm not saying do or don't with the vaccine, but what I am telling you are things that you can do to boost your immune system with no side effects.
Yeah,
No known side
let's
effects.
hear that.
And the one is the accelerated silver. It has been programmed, and the reason we call it scalar is it's been programmed with bioinformational frequencies. So you're going to start hearing more about frequency-based healing, not just supplements.
Tesla was into that, right?
Exactly. So Nikola Tesla it's his technology that's behind the scalar silver. And so what it is,
I love it.
It's got the frequencies in there to boost the strength of silver. No other silver company does this. No other silver solution has this. And we also put it through this water implosion technology that strips the water of any impurities, and no other company, I can tell you that, does that as well. So not only that for the immune system, but I have something called My Vital C, which is a carbon 60. It is not vitamin C, but it is 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. It doubles your lifespan. And I know last time we talked about...
How can it double your lifespan? We can't
does.
say things like that. Plus, I don't want to live to be 160.
In the rat study, the rats lived twice as long. And it helps with hair growth, helps reversing gray hair.
We got to be careful, though. We can't tell people it'll double their lifespan. In a study,
In a study with rats, these rats are known to have tumors, and they're known to live a certain amount of time. All the rats that took the MyVital C, not one of them had a tumor, and they lived twice as long.
Wow. Look
And
at
the
that
study-
house over there with the
Yeah.
spiral staircase.
They
The rats live twice as long,
They
and in the
live-
study,
twice as long, and the study is on my website. You can read
Ah.
about it. And I also interviewed the owner of the company. But that also has been shown to have strong antiviral properties. It stops the cytokine storm that is known with COVID. And it also is being used to treat HIV, which is one of the strongest viruses that we've ever...
I just want to make sure that we're real careful, because I don't disagree with what you're saying, but YouTube is very sensitive to what we say. So none of this is medical advice.
Nope.
Anybody should talk to their own physician before they engage in any kind of medical treatment or anything. And we're just sharing information about supplements and opinion and discussing matters. I'm just concerned about walking in the street, because I guess my New York programming has me.
We are totally safe in the street.
Good.
And Nova prefers the street.
Oh, okay.
So yes, and I agree, we are trying to boost our immune system naturally.
Right.
And the other one is known to be antiviral, antibacterial, is the accelerated iodine, and that also has the scalar frequencies embedded in it. What's great too about my iodine, the accelerated, it actually helps detox your body of heavy metals and the radiation.
That's something
as well.
that I've been very sensitive to in my life, because I was diagnosed by a medical doctor at NYU as being mercury toxic long before I ever met you. And I started on a detox journey that I continue today. I do use the silver and iodine. I like those products. Not saying that's going to prevent or treat COVID. We're not saying that. We're just saying these are some things that people can try if they want to, and I enjoy them. And you're citing some studies that indicate potential benefits.
Right, and it's not just about the one virus we're all focused on.
Right.
It's just about boosting the immune system, and all three of them have antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal properties, and here we are all concerned about one virus. There's all these other issues that we should be concerned about. And another thing is your diet, and I talk about a low carb diet, cutting out the sugar and the carbs.
I'm bad with that.
I know you are, but when you take a supplement called accelerated keto, it cuts the sugar cravings out. And I'm doing these group cleanses, and week one, when the group gets together and I say, okay, so how's everyone's cravings? Are you hungry for breakfast?
I was going to say, you got something in there that's anti-cookie dough ice cream.
Right,
I need that.
exactly. Well, what it does is it kicks your body into ketosis or fat burning mode within 30 minutes. So you bypass all of those hangry feelings when you get angry and hungry at the same time, because your body is craving the sugars you're used to.
Right.
So it kicks you into fat burning mode. Your body starts burning its own fat stores and says, oh my God, I've got thousands of fat calories to burn. Why would I ever run out of energy? I'm going to just go, go, go. Your mental energy, your physical energy shoot up. You've got amazing strength. Your appetite goes down. And you just stick to a low carb diet. Nova is liking the grass right now. And your energy is amazing. And the cravings go away. So that puts you in a spot where you cut the junk out. And the junk is what is inflammatory to the body.
Right.
And it lowers your immune system. It kills your gut microbiome. And so with that, you are compromising your immune system. Your immune system, like I mentioned, 80% of it's in the gut.
A lot of people don't think about health in these terms. You know, you hear the word holistic and a lot of people's eyes glaze over. They think this is some kind of hippie thing, but it's talking about the whole body and
Absolutely.
saying, like, how can you maybe do something that might not immediately seem like it'll be the solution to a problem, but you know, I've noticed this happen, like, you know, you do the detox stuff and then maybe your nasal congestion will clear
Right.
up.
Right.
And, you know, my father is a medical doctor. I made a comment to him about this one time. He said, that's absurd. I was like, well, okay, that's what I experienced.
Right. Well, what's also, as we're talking about mental health, your happy hormones, your serotonin, your dopamine, your GABA, they're all made in the gut. So if you've got leaky gut, then you've got leaky brain. And you also are going to suffer from ADHD and depression, anxiety. And those things also lead to dementia and Alzheimer's. And I've got solutions for that. They've got studies behind a low-carb diet and how that can boost your strength against those brain diseases, the dementias and the Alzheimer's. And I've got a family member that was just diagnosed with one of them, and we're putting him on a protocol that includes the accelerated keto, but it also includes these frequency-based patches that you wear that you can still have your sugar craving, Jason, but you wear these patches and it increases your own production of stem cells.
Wow.
In your brain and your whole body. I wear them. We've got patches for boosting your immune system, for boosting your happy hormones, for increasing your energy, and they're these patches you just wear during the day.
What about a patch to maybe grow back Joe Biden's brain?
Well, if he wanted some help, I could help him.
He needs some help. He definitely needs some help, I think.
Yeah. So.
Well, Sarah, it's been a great conversation. Beautiful weather here. Should we take some questions maybe from the... Let's see if anybody in the comments here has any questions for Sarah. There's usually a lot of people making stupid comments here, but let's see if we have some people with some nice things to say. Well, I don't know. People saying I'm getting tan. That's true. Yesterday there were people in the comments hoping that I get cancer. What kind of a person would say that? That's really terrible. And I mean, you've told us about how your family survived cancer, came out the right way on the other side.
Yeah.
How can anyone wish that on anyone? I mean, it's just
I wouldn't
horrendous.
wish it on anybody. I have to say though, Jason, through the challenges and the darkest hours of my life have come the brightest blessings. And this business, my business, would be non-existent if it weren't for my own health issues and my son's, because I felt the need to help other people. And I pray about it every day. I pray that I am to be used, and whether that's to God or source or whatever, the universe, whatever you want to call it, I am being used in the best way possible. And I talk about how I'll sometimes get a health issue, a kidney issue, a liver issue or something, and within a week or two there's someone knocking on my door or emailing me with the same issue, and I've got answers for them because I've experienced it myself.
Wow.
And that is, you know, even with pets and animals, Nova takes the silver every day. She takes the My Vital C, and she's as healthy as can be. And we've had a lot of animals with success through my programs as well. Horses, dogs, cats. And it's amazing sometimes how people want to take care of their animals better than themselves, and I understand that as well. So
Nova's such a sweetheart. And you know, Sarah, it's always great to see you. You have just such a wonderful attitude, such a wonderful outlook on everything. You are just like a hero mom who has come through this situation, and you made lemonade. So, I mean, you're really an inspiration to people, even if they don't get involved in the health protocols. I hope that people will check out acceleratedhealthproducts.com. There was at one point a way for Crowdsource the Truth viewers to get a discount. I don't know if that code is still going.
Yes, there is, and we'll add it to the comments. I believe it's Goodman 15.
There we go. People can save 15% on some of those great products.
Absolutely.
Wonderful to see you, Sarah.
Thank you. And
As always, we're hugging. Exactly. That's going to probably get me kicked off of YouTube, and if that happens, people will be able to still see the show by going to subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Become a sponsor if you're enjoying this road trip. Gas is going up. Gas is over $4 a gallon over here.
Yes, it is.
Unbelievable. I feel like we're back in 2005 or something.
There you go.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.